All right, let's go ahead and get started here. Yes, only three of us, four of us total, I guess, on the meeting. Do we need to do introductions and updates? How about let's do brief introductions and give me an update of what's going on with you and your organization. And I see Dodd's on the phone right now too. So Samantha, you want to go ahead?
Sure thing. Road Court is doing well. We just had 2 graduates last week and got 4 new referrals within the last week. 2 of those being from the city, so that's pretty exciting. We are still working on figuring out that BGA grant. Lots of moving pieces with that, but we're working through that and things are going well for the program. Nothing major to really update.
Okay, excellent. Michelle.
Hi, I'm Michelle. Let's see, things are busy. At the lab, we have had a large increase in DUIs since 2019. I think we're up like 20% or something on DUIs that we've had for blood submissions to the lab. So we're just staying really busy here. We're about around 15% increase for coroner's cases. So we just got a lot of work that's been keeping us busy. Next week, I'm teaching at a prosecuting the DUI training. So just staying busy, trying to keep up with everything here.
Oh, excellent. Well, I guess I'd say excellent, but in some aspects, I'm glad to see the numbers are increasing from a financial standpoint. Those of you that may or may not know, most of my funding comes through from, actually all of my funding for DUI task force comes from reinstatement fees for driver's licenses. So good to see that the numbers are going back up. I've seen a few more numbers increase as far as my reinstatement fees that Kevin Dusko from the state sends. So glad to see that some numbers are going up. That must mean a couple bad things, though. That means probably more people are out there drinking and driving or driving impaired with THC, because I think Michelle, during the last state meeting, I don't think it was you, but somebody from your office gave a big report on the increase in the polysubstance use, specifically with THC. Is that correct?
Yeah, my supervisor used some of the stats that I collect, and she was talking about THC specifically and like how that is in combination with alcohol and the numbers that we've been seeing with increases. So we see a lot of THC with alcohol, with methamphetamine, with just about everything you could think of. So lots of marijuana in the state right now, lots of alcohol and lots of combinations with that, and basically everything else you can think of.
Yeah, of course, that's definitely scary. So, be safe out there on those roads. And I know I've been working a lot with Leah. Leah, I'll have you introduce yourself and sort of give program update and maybe a little bit about what we've been working on sort of in the background as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And you caught me right when I was eating a bite of my lunch.
That's the theme, is try to catch people when they're eating.
Right. Oh, she's eating. No, I'm Leah Fitch-Brody, for those of you who don't know me. I work at the health department with Steve, and I do substance use disorder prevention. One of the coalitions that I facilitate is the Healthy Missoula Youth Coalition, which previously was called MUSAP, or Missoula Underage Substance Abuse Prevention Coalition. So one of the committees that we have with that is working specifically around marijuana and kind of local policy, as well as, trying to do some outreach around, what changes are going to be made in our community, what we can do to really help prevent youth use of marijuana, and then also using marijuana while driving, or close to driving, right? So recently we presented to the local city council their safety committee, or health and safety committee, and we're really trying to discuss like what we can do. Currently we have 45 places that are going to be considered dispensaries in Missoula, and that is at this point I think we have the most dispensaries per capita in the nation. Really surprising. So that is something that we really, I think, need to think about. We know that alcohol density, like alcohol outlet density, leads to more drinking and driving. And so we assume that that is going to also translate with marijuana. So I think thinking about like how our committees and then your task force can really think about like how are we going to be working on this together and educating the public about, you know, you may think that you're a better driver when you smoke, but that's not the case. And so, yeah. Oh yeah, Steve, if you want to talk about that, you just put in the chat.
Yeah, so I just put a real quick, it's a minute 26 video. There's no words or anything like that, no music or anything. Sorry, I'm slacking a little bit there. But it's basically what this is a flyover of the 45 different dispensaries that we have right now in Missoula. When we were doing this information, we looked at what would be recommended for a population of Missoula County, and that would be a total of 8 would be the recommendation to have for all of Missoula County. And there's 45. So imagine having like, you know, 13 McDonald's running around town. I mean, that's kind of what it, you know, what we have as far as the population goes. So that's just absolutely crazy. So,
I mean, you
awesome.
drive down Brook Street and it's like every block. So.
Yeah, that's insane. Absolutely insane. Well, thanks for the update, Leah. I appreciate it. Dodd.
Oh, I'm Dodd McDermott with Missoula Rural Fire, Deputy Fire Marshal here. We've been busy, of course, with the wildland season, the heat and everything, and that's starting to slow a little bit. So we're catching up in that area. As far as the marijuana dispensary facilities, one of the reasons we're seeing a huge growth in that is because when it becomes recreational after the first of the year, the first 8 months, the only people that can sell recreational marijuana have to have been previously selling medical marijuana. In the state itself, we have, I think, 490 dispensaries in the whole state of Montana. Missoula County actually has 100, or I think 97 of them in Missoula County. The ones that you're talking about are just in Missoula. But the county actually, Lolo has them, Sealy has them, Frenchtown has them. So they're out there. There's more out there than just the ones you see in the city. And one of the problems we're having is people are getting plans and stuff to do it legally to get their buildings up to code. And then they'll just take another building and figure they can go off the plans for the building they had previously and install another one. So there are probably another 15 to 20 grow operations that I have found that aren't legally in there too. So those are popping up too. There's several old barns and old warehouses that have been, and a couple of old trailer houses actually that have been converted to grow operations. And we're in the process of trying to get all that straightened out too. So I see this huge growth in it. One of our problems is that there's no communication between the medical marijuana folks because of HIPAA. They can't give us a whole lot of information. And then the county, they don't know about some things. So we're trying to get a whole thing set up so they get the information that we're finding in these places. And nobody really wants to be the bad guy and tell them they have to shut it down. And every time I want to shut it down, they told me I don't have the authority. So that's where we're at with it. But I can see it's going to be, they're expecting a big boom after the first year of recreational. So I see it as being a huge problem.
Yeah, I agree with you. And yeah, Michelle, I'd love to keep updated with you on what you see from the state lab as far as this goes as we move into this. I'd love to see those graphs and all of that stuff. And yeah, just holy smokes. I just be safe out there on those roadways, folks. That's all I got to say. Wow. Well, thanks, Todd. I appreciate it. Heidi, how are you doing?
Hey, Steve. Good. not much to report here in the world of media. It's just a busy time right now. Yeah, not sure what to say. You know, all of my clients out there are concerned. I deal with a lot of retailers and a lot of nonprofits. So of course, retailers are concerned with people coming in and not being able to ask them to wear, or asking them to wear masks and it not happening.
Right.
And just a lot of nonprofit events such as Safe Kids Fair that are going virtual. So we're dealing with things like that right now. That's about it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the update and keep up the hard work.
Yes, and we are U1045, which is one of our stations, is a huge supporter of Safe Kids Fair. So we're doing a lot of talking up about that event. So we're
Excellent.
excited to participate in that.
Yeah, excellent. We'll be out there. We, last year was a drive-through event, and we kind of it was kind of interesting being out there and watching all the cars sort of serpentine their way through the parking lot, and we're just handing stuff, to people as they drive by. It was a really fascinating thing, and I think it had a pretty decent turnout. That I think we're expecting, up to anywhere from 230, 250 cars, if it's anything like last year. So that's kind of cool. Sheila.
Hi. Well, we are crazy. It is crazy busy. And I was sitting here thinking about Heidi and I when you were talking about the marijuana dispensaries, because I think when you get a lot of them, you get a lot of competition. But we have not crossed that bridge yet, and I hope we don't. I did want someone to clarify for me. You said Missoula County had 45 dispensaries, and I thought McDermott said there were 97. Can somebody clarify that?
Yeah, so the 45 dispensaries are the ones with storefronts. We went through the list of all of the ones that have licensure through the Department of Revenue, and then also cross-listed them. Some of them are, they may not have, like some of them, like that TJ may be talking about, is that they may not have a storefront. Some of them are listed more than once. And so there's some changing around of who owns what store and the names and all of that. Okay. So that's what we have found. But there may be more just in the last couple of weeks since we did that presentation. So.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. So for me, I can clarify that that includes both grow operations and actual dispensaries. And some of those folks that own dispensaries have 3 or 4 storefronts. So,
okay.
And some of those have 5 or 6 grow operations also. So they're
good to know.
Yeah. And you can look on the Montana Medical Marijuana website, and every single one is listed and where they're at.
Okay. The other thing I have to report is that we are currently running some safety messages. Drive safe. Steve did some great 15-second live and recorded copy, and Knuckles for Buckles is live. And I think that we're gonna, I hope that we're gonna start seeing that. I'm gonna speak to the School District 1 people about putting up the poster if Steve will make one, and he's good at that. Because we would like to have the schools be talking that up, especially when parents are dropping off and picking up Knuckles for Buckles. The ads sound great, and we just got so much cooperation from the stations that are participating. They're running the ads for a small amount of cash, and then also providing us with a lot of public service match. So we just really appreciate that.
Oh, good. I hadn't talked to you yet since I sent those over to you. So I hope they sounded okay.
They sounded great. Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. So a long time ago, we're talking like my first job ever in high school. I was a DJ at a small town radio station in Malta, Montana. So my listening area was about 17 miles in either direction from Malta. And then the radio station faded out. I think they only kept me on the air because the radio station guy must have had some sort of deal with our local Radio Shack. That was the place that sold any sort of cassette tapes and CDs at the time, because they figured if I was on the air nobody was listening to the radio station, and they were actually buying CDs and cassette tapes. So he was getting some sort of
I'm sure that
cutback to
wasn't
keep
it.
me on the air. So
I'm gonna call the folks at KMMR and ask them about that
yeah.
and find out if that story is true.
I've talked to him a couple times. He still owns a radio station, but I've joked with him about that I was the worst DJ there was, and it was absolutely hilarious. So but no, it's always good to get back in front of the microphone and have some fun. So it's a blast. Thanks for letting me play.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I have Andrew's phone. Who might Andrew's phone be?
I have another update. I guess it's not like big for DUI task force, but just for a heads up, I am no longer with Project Success. I was hired as a social worker at Big Sky High School. So I'm still technically a variable employee for Western because I'm going to still do all the reports and stuff until we can get all the positions filled. But I did transition over to an MCPS employee.
Awesome.
Congrats, Sam. That's awesome.
Yeah. Very exciting. Finally using it. Well, using my social work degree.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
And will you take next for bucks over to Big Sky for us?
I mean, I can try.
Okay.
Andrew's phone is Sergeant Drew Novak with the Highway Patrol. He's taken over for now Captain Fowl, who got promoted. So he won't, Captain Fowl, who I'm so used to saying Sergeant Fowl, won't be here with us anymore. So that is who Andrew's iPhone is. So I don't know if he can hear us very well or not. So, and then I just got an email from Virginia Braun and sent her off a link to join the meeting. So maybe she will be here. Of course, she has been in my thoughts quite a bit over the last little bit with the passing of her son, if you guys don't know that story. So hopefully she'll be joining us here. I'll give you a quick brief update, and then we'll sort of get into kind of what I was hoping to really chat about here today. So tomorrow night, I'll be out at the University Oval for their tailgate party, which has typically been the you cruise, you lose, or you cruise, you booze, you cruise, you lose. There you go. I have to think. I have like one of the cups in the other room, and I have to like read the cup in my mind. So I'll be out there with that. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to get some video of some students. Maybe do some TikTok videos out there, trying to get that students to share their message of why they drive sober and choose to buckle up and things like that. Also have a Safe Kids Fair coming up, which is the Sunday the 29th, 26th. Sunday the 26th, that will be out at Community Med Center. We'll be out there with the Respect the Cage exhibit out there. A couple other things I have going on. I've ordered stickers and car air fresheners. So that'll be kind of cool to have maybe some things that we can hand out to people and maybe get our logo out there. Like going the route of the car air fresheners, mainly because people seem to keep those hanging in their vehicles long after the fact. And let me see if I can do a screen share here, and I'll pull up that. And I see Rich joined us. Hey, Rich, why don't you introduce yourself and just give us a brief update while I'm trying to pull up my other screen.
Hello, Rich from the Missoula City Attorney's Office. I'm late at a meeting with the chief. I guess what update are we looking for, Steve?
Just anything that's going on with you. Your organization.
Our officers are, unfortunately still out. More and more people are still continuing to drink and drive. The officers here are doing a great job. They're enforcing the laws, and we're trying to get a handle on it, but it's tough to change that behavior sometimes.
Well, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. So
sorry I'm late.
No problem at all. That's all right. I'm glad you're here. So this here is, let's see, am I sharing my screen right now? Okay. So I don't know. Can you see that? So that's going to be the the front of the air freshener right there in the back, basically saying that Drive Safe Missoula needs you because one, and people need me because I'm buckled up, I'm 100% sober, and I'm driving in control and distraction free. So that's kind of what that's going to look like. Hopefully that's going to be a pretty neat little thing to have hanging in somebody's rearview window so they can see that. And as a good reminder, hopefully parents will want their kids to have something like that in their cars. Other thing that's going on real fast, RAS classes. I was been contracted by the state to help record some of the videos that go on in the responsible alcohol sales and service training throughout the state. So I've been recording some videos for them, which has been quite fun putting those together. And that's all part of the RAS course. So they're not like individual videos that are going to be out and about or shared on social media or anything like that. Specifically for the sales and service training there. And then obviously working on the In Control course for young drivers, and the TikTok contest for high school students. We're postponing that only because I have so much going on right now on the plate that yeah, we're gonna wait a little bit on that one and get to that shortly. So anyway, that's kind of the updates from me. Just want to basically say, hey, I really appreciate all of you and how much work you guys have put into Drive Safe Missoula, whether that's the Buckle Up Coalition or the DUI Task Force. I really appreciate that. And oh, what's the air freshener scent? I think we're doing 3 different scents. We're doing new car, orange, and I can't remember. Oh, vanilla would be the other one. Those are the 3 that I had a list of them that I asked. I was like, could I get any of these? And those were the ones that I could get. So
I think I love that idea. I think it's great. Or would you be able to send one out to each of us possibly?
Yeah, I would absolutely love to do that. I think
That'd be
that would be a great thing. Oh, other thing, I'm also doing ads in the bowling alley as well. So for 1 year, it was only $600 for a full year's worth of advertising. That means Drive Safe Missoula logo will be up on the screens, and then also on the rake bar when that rakes the pins out of the way after you knock them down. It'll say drivesafemissoula.com, and it's also part of the 300 board as well. And that's where I'm holding all my RAS classes. So I figured it's probably just a good partnership. They give me that space for free. And I was like, well, all right, let's do this too. So, and people are drinking while they're bowling. So maybe it's a good opportunity to get the information out there as well. So.
And Steve, if you happen to have any extra that you could send my way, we have a lot of people in and out of our office all the time. So we'd be happy to get some into some folks' hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Once I get them, yeah, definitely. I'll like to sprinkle those all around town. You bet. I'll bring some by for sure.
Thank you.
That's a great idea. Thanks. So this is kind of where I need your help. Just wanted to have a chat with you all, a discussion on basically the coalition capacity and where we're at and where we would like to be. So if we could just maybe have a discussion on this, I'd love to hear what your thoughts and ideas might be. And with COVID, back, in the main headlines right now, we're probably going to stay virtual for a considerable amount of time. Hoping we could possibly be back to in-person meetings, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So I just wanted to kind of look at where we are now compared to where we were before COVID started, which was right shortly about the time after I started, and how it's been for the last year and kind of what we're looking at in the future as far as the capacity of the coalition. Do we have the right people on board? Do we need to invite other people? How are we doing? And what does capacity as far as a coalition mean to you? So I just basically throw that question out, and feel free to hop in and give me your thoughts.
Maybe Maybe just one question, because I kind
You
of
bet.
so lots of questions. I don't know which one to answer first.
Oh, so you want one question?
Mhm.
What does increasing coalition capacity mean to you?
For me, I'd like to see as much diversity as possible. If we could get, since we deal a lot with high school students and stuff, do we have anybody who is actually from Missoula County Public Schools system that that we could bring in, maybe a superintendent or somebody that works with a superintendent? That's a big important part of a lot of things we do. I know we had somebody from the Bar and Tavern Association. We have a Montana Brewers Association. I think anybody that has anything to do with any alcohol or alcohol sales, those are great people to bring in. And then anything that's like for kids, like for high school kids, or like definitely through that, maybe some other type of kids organizations. I'm not sure if there's some other, FFA or any of that kind of stuff that has any type of influence with the younger generation. I think those would be great to see on there, and the more people the merrier, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think reaching out to a lot of that, my plan when it comes to the high school version of the TikTok contest, I imagine there will be some expansion of the membership when it comes to that, because that was one of my goals of that, is just to try to bring awareness that we exist and what we do, and to maybe locate and find some key figures throughout the school systems across the county and bring them to the table. So whether it be the, a youth group advisor like Key Club or DECA or something like that, but maybe also some school administration. Of course, we have Samantha now on board, as we've always had her on board, but now that she's part of the payroll, that's kind of cool too. So awesome. Thanks, Todd. So yours was more about increasing like membership and getting more people involved. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
I think I think of it. I want to kind of think about like, do we just want to like have more people, or are there like reasons why we're inviting people to the table? Are there certain initiatives, and are we also trying to get more capacity for, work to be done, or are we just networking? Are we just trying to hear from each other what each other is doing? I guess, yeah, it brings up more questions for me, I think.
I agree. Absolutely. And that's probably one of my main concerns. Is I absolutely dread holding a meeting just to hold a meeting and to give you guys updates that I can send you in an email. What's the meme that's, out and about, where people are like, great, just attended another meeting, another 1 hour long meeting that could have been handled by a 5-second email, type of thing. So I don't want to put you guys in a situation where you're just attending this to attend this and to listen to me talk. I'm also the type of individual too, where I understand and I appreciate how unbelievably busy every single one of you is right now. And I don't want to ask you to do anything that might cause extra work for you in this time with the pandemic, all of that stuff going on. I don't want to put any more work on your shoulders. So I'll probably be hesitant to ask for help on a lot of things, because I know everybody's just like maxed out right now with everything. So with that, I'll take on a lot of different extra responsibilities that maybe otherwise I might go, oh, you know what, let's see if I can find somebody to help me out with this a little bit. So yes, as far as that capacity goes, can we do more with the people that we have? Do we need more people? What's the ask going to be of those people? What's in it for them to be a part of this? If we do increase membership, one partnership that I've been dreaming about having ever since I started is developing a relationship or a partnership with Onyx Maps, because they have, I mean, their clientele is out driving the back roads, which is dangerous. They're out there hunting, they're exploring, they're doing different activities, and there's oftentimes alcohol involved, and there's oftentimes no seatbelts involved. So that would be a partnership with people, their customers, that I would love to build. But what's in it for them to be a part of this? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's a good thing, if they were a part of this, that they could then say, hey, look at the good things that we do for our community, aside from just trying to sell a product, that we take part in this coalition, and this is what we're trying to do as well. So that could be something as far as expansion goes. I'd like to get more of the business world in here as well. So that's part of it.
Steve, I think that's a great idea. And I'd like to see, for instance, more activity from the car dealerships. I think the earlier iterations of both Buckle Up and Drive and DUI Task Force had a good relationship with the Chevy dealer, but I don't know kind of where that's gone. And it seems like people who sell cars would be concerned about safe driving. And I don't know that we've reached out to any of the car dealers, and I think that's a place where we could go, because it certainly can't hurt their reputation to be involved with something like Buckle Up. And you've come up with some pretty creative ideas like Next for Butts that I think are fairly easy for them to incorporate. I definitely would stop and give them all a few air fresheners and just meet those people. I think that would be a good idea. And perhaps some of them would want to send people to the meetings to find out what we're doing. I just think this year has been really challenging, because in the past, our work has revolved around our joint efforts to put on events. And we haven't been putting on events. So it has been more meeting focused. And I get that this is challenging format in a lot of ways, because when we would gather around a table, there would be a lot of side conversations. Those don't happen in the Zoom format. And we would be making connections and coming up with other ways of promoting the brand and promoting the activities that I thought were really helpful. And so it was worthwhile to enlarge the table and bring more people, because it brought more opportunities. Certainly the work that we did with the driving simulator, that wouldn't have happened without those side conversations that were going on. So, oops. Okay. Sorry, you did too, didn't you, Leah?
Yeah. I think we
everybody
all did.
got the alert. Anyway, I would like us to continue to reach out to people. And maybe as long as we're having to meet virtually, we reach out to people when we have a specific project or need or ask, and don't require them to come to meetings outside of that, but invite them to come if they want to present or ask questions or just learn more.
Yeah, Sheila, I like that. Yeah, because it's not just about, I think, people like just coming to our meetings, but it's about like all those other relationships that we have, those connections that we have that are also developing the capacity of the task force.
Yeah, thank you, Sheila. Those are great points. I agree. I think to bring new folks on now to join meetings without having something directly for them to be involved in, I think it would be difficult to get them to be engaged. And that's really important when you first bring somebody into a new group. You want to make sure that they can be a part of it and contribute. And it's so difficult through a Zoom format, and people are so exhausted of Zoom right now. I think inviting someone onto another one would be difficult. And so I would like to see us bring more folks on once we are back in person, because it's much more valuable to those folks at that time and gives them an opportunity to engage.
That makes sense. So as far as recruitment goes, what I'm hearing is that probably now's not probably the best time for recruitment goes. Maybe like individually, because I still want to like reach out to Onyx Maps, but I'm like so swamped right now that, for example, I got to go pick up like 4 car seats today, and I'm just like stressed at the fact that I got to leave my desk for for an hour to go pick up some car seats and try to schedule with people, because I'm like, then I'm not going to be able to get something else done. So that makes sense. So like, for example, one of the things I always, try to think, like individually, the different people that are here now, for example, Rich, question for you. What's in it for you to be here? As far as a member of Drive Safe Missoula, the DUI task force, Buckle Up Montana, if it's something that is needed for, reporting things to say, hey, look, I'm involved with this group. That's one thing. But what can I do for you to make it worth your while to really be here as a coalition member, in a sense?
Well, one of the things, the city, frankly, is happy to be involved and happy to get information. And a lot of these things that we talk about here, are outside of, I guess, my control or the city's control. But one of the things that, we can, get more information on is things like road court and treatment court. And we hear right from those, we can tell, when success stories happen that, somebody isn't drinking and driving again, or, they've stopped altogether. You know what I mean? It's extremely beneficial to hear what's going on with this meeting. I was involved with it when I was on the HP. I think it's important. Even though we had a smaller role, HP, for example, we could bring out the seatbelt convincer, and we could strap people in. We could put beer goggles on people and run them through the maneuvers. And here, of course, I'm in a different position, but it's always beneficial to hear what's going on in the community, because you never know when I give my notes to the chief prosecutor and to Jim, they may have suggestions that go down to the police department that I'm unaware of, right? So these are always beneficial to participate in.
Excellent. Good to hear. Because like I said, the last thing I want to do is, have a meeting that you guys just show up and you're like, check the box. I went to this meeting. It looks good on paper, yada, 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 but it was a complete and total waste of my time.
I take notes. Okay. Through every meeting, I take notes and they're forwarded, and you never know what comes of it. Maybe the PD will act on. I don't know. That's well above my pay grade, but you never know what comes of them. And it may be a simple suggestion, or it may be a simple change, or maybe it's, it might be something that they might be doing safety spot checks because of information we're getting here. I don't know.
Excellent. All right. Well, good to hear. I appreciate that. Michelle, let me ask you that same question. What's in it for you to be here?
So I joined during COVID, so I have not met you all in person, which has been a little weird, to be part of a group and feel like I'm probably not contributing that much because I don't know what I should be doing as a new member. But the reason that I wanted to join this group in the first place is because of my role as a toxicologist. I feel like I have a lot of information to share, and I don't think that I share it very well. Like, I don't think we do that as a laboratory very well. We don't have an audience to give that information to. So I started doing quarterly reports and yearly reports to try to give snapshots of what we're seeing around the state of Montana. But, I live in Missoula. I really want to know what's going on here and help here. And I just really think that education in any way that we can present that would be really great. So, honestly, I was wanting to join this to see what you guys are doing with like high schools or college kids, and see if like a toxicologist could be useful for helping educate people about DUIs and drugs and how we could further that knowledge with people so that they hopefully don't use drugs and drive, because that's mostly my focus is drugs and driving.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think my hopes are when I can really start digging into the meat and potatoes of the Young Drivers in Control course, I would love to get you in front of camera and chatting about different things, or if not in front of camera, maybe just like a podcast style interview where you can chat, and then I could put the images up that correspond to the words that we're talking about, to maybe help influence kids to make the right choice. So and I'm sure I don't know if you've connected with Leah or not, but Leah and you should probably chat as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think especially related to some of the stuff we're seeing locally around marijuana would be really great.
Definitely.
Excellent. So as far as membership goes, then I probably won't do any major active recruitments or anything like that. Obviously, if you happen to know somebody that you think would be a great fit, I'd love to get together with them and chat and see, what we could do for them, what they could do for us, all of that stuff. That would be really cool, I guess. Looking through some of those other agenda items then on like the current members, sounds to me like most of you feel like you're needed and appreciated. I hope I display that, and because you truly are 100% needed and appreciated from my standpoint. But I've been involved with meetings throughout the years where it seems like I was going there and just checking a box, and nobody ever asked me anything. I hardly said anything during the meetings, and it absolutely drove me crazy to just go there. So all doing okay as far as that goes? Okay, I hope so. Silence is golden then. All right, awesome. If by chance I were to ask, obviously I reach out to Sheila quite a bit. I work with Leah on a daily basis, it seems. And like Samantha, for example, helped out with getting road court, individuals to the fair, for example, when we had the Respect the Cage exhibit out there. As things come up, as we move forward with different things, right now I'm still very much in the building stage of like the Young Drivers in Control course, trying to get those things that the swag that we can hand out to people, things like that. But as we move forward, I would love to maybe ask a little bit more of some people, probably more on an individual basis, where like we could sit down, do that interview, do the chat. I'd love to learn more about what I can do for you on an individual level. If there's anything I can do, for example, Michelle, if I can help get that information out, those quarterly reports, whether it be blog posts or whatever the case may be, I would love to do that. I would love to do a video that highlights the lab, for example, so people could maybe get to know a little bit about what's going on behind the scenes, if that makes sense. If that's something that would be positive press for you, I would love to do that. That would be great. Does that all make sense? I felt like I was kind of rambling there a little bit. Okay. Meeting schedule once a month. Are we still cool with that? Should we do once every other month? Quarterly?
I'd say once every other month, Steve, but it's hard once you go off of a schedule to get back on it.
Yeah.
And I think what I'd rather do is, if we don't have a ton of business, sometimes the city council meetings are over before I manage to sign on. But that's okay, because I didn't have anything to talk about. And I don't see a problem with adjourning early if we don't have a lot of business.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I know we've done that, and I've sort of, obviously I've combined both Buckle Up and DUI Task Force together. Most of the meetings have been just, I've scheduled them for the 1 hour, time frame. And I think Heidi, you might have been the one that suggested that for me, to try to, get it, as concise as possible. And I try to fly through that information, although, so much, I feel like I'm just reporting back to you guys. And I feel like I could just make a video and send that video out and save you some time. But yeah, I agree. If we go one route, it's definitely hard to go back to the way it was. So any other thoughts on meeting schedules? Okay.
I mean, I don't know if this is a thing, but I know that you combined the DUI task force with Buckle Up. I mean, you could do DUI one month and Buckle Up the next month. And I know there's a lot of overlap, but I don't know. Or it just depends, I guess, on what the topics too, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I never even thought of that. That's a really good idea. That's a genius idea, Leah. I like that.
I mean, it might not make sense for timing, I mean, there might be some things that need to be said, like, I know this is the other meeting, but
Yeah, right. Oh, that is something to think about. Any thoughts on that from the group?
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, because we've sort of just been combining everything so fast and
Right.
maybe not going in depth with a lot of stuff. Go ahead, Heidi. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I totally agree.
Okay. That might be something that we do then. Or I will definitely put some deep thought into that one because I like that a lot. As far as everything else that's been going, the way we're doing things with COVID, all of that stuff, most of it that I've been doing, I'm pretty much, behind the computer, either designing the artwork, writing the blog posts. I know a lot of you have helped contribute to blog posts, and I really appreciate that. Or I'm, working on, keeping the website updated, a lot of the behind the scenes aspect of the website, the video editing, things like that. It's primarily all I'm doing. I mean, I've just behind me here, I have, let's see, I can probably do the, and show you. I have a constant just green screen set up in my office. So I don't even take it down. It's just because all I'm doing is just that's where you can see like my hands go off the screens there. So doing all that stuff, I know that I don't know what I could ask of anybody to maybe help out with some of that stuff. I don't really know, but those are some of the things where if we do a different meeting schedule or I do updates, once a month and then meeting every other month, those are some of the things that I've really been thinking about. But I really like that idea of maybe Buckle Up every other month and, even months for Buckle Up, odd months for DUI or something like that. That's probably a good
That's
idea.
a great idea.
Yeah. What else has been working? I know there's so much going on that most of you don't see. I try to give you the brief little updates. What has been working in your mind as far as DUI Task Force, Buckle Up Montana, or Drive Safe Missoula as a whole over this past year that you've seen that you're like, hey, that's pretty cool. That's worked. Sheila?
Well, for sure. I think that it's funny. I didn't like videos at the beginning because I read really fast. So I was like, oh, I have to sit through a video when I could just scan it really fast. But now I really like them. And one of the things I like about them is that you have gotten really good at getting a point across quickly. So I think I look forward more to the video updates than anything else. Also, they're easy to share if they're about one thing, basically, that makes it easy to share. And sometimes I do send those out to people that are in social work connections and school connections and things like that. So I think that that might be a way to sort of lessen the workload for you, is to do a little bit more of that because you're pretty comfortable with it and you do it easily now. And I think that they can be sort of repurposed fairly easily. You can put them on the website, but you can also send them out as email attachments. So I keep doing that.
Okay. And Leah, do you have a counterpoint to that?
To the video thing?
Yeah.
No, I think the video is good. I just don't always have time to watch it. So
Maybe I'll send out a video and show you how you can speed up a video and watch it 2 times the speed. So if it's a 4-minute video, it'll only be 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll sound like the chipmunks, but it'll be good. Yeah, but I know, like Leah had mentioned a long time ago, and that's why I asked if you had the counterpoint. So I appreciate you letting me put you on the spot there. She works in an office with other people, occasionally sharing the same office. And I know she said initially that she doesn't watch the videos because she doesn't, want to turn the speakers on to disturb the other people as well. So I thought that was a good point.
That's not the case anymore because I'm at home.
Yeah, home, and I think a lot of us wear headsets too now when we're on, because we're so used to the Zoom meetings and all of that stuff too. So yeah, no, that makes sense. Excellent. Looks like Samantha left us. Dodd, what's some more thoughts from you?
Well, I sometimes don't feel like I have a whole lot to contribute, but then occasionally I can open my big mouth and pipe in and add some stuff. I do have a lot of information, I guess, from what we see post drunk driving stuff. I've dealt with a lot of aftermath from a lot of that stuff. So I think that's where what I bring to it. As far as what I'm getting out of it, I like the fact of being able to have a voice for our basically our fire department, for our guys. And I bring that stuff back to them, and we talk about it actually at our union meetings. That's one of the things I bring back. That's one of I can do it actually on morning meetings, but that's so random. At least at union meetings, I get large groups of folks. So I do get some feedback from them. I tell them to watch videos, and of course we have stuff linked to our Facebook page and things like that. So we have a way of getting a lot of our stuff out by linking through things that we do, and then that links to several. So we're kind of that website, I guess, linkage to help get that information spread out there. And a lot of people follow us, and as far as fire department stuff, and for some reason or other, they think we're pretty credible in what we say and do. So that helps out, I think, a little bit. You and I had talked a lot about this, and it's like I don't know really what, as far as a firefighter, I had to bring as a part of the DUI task force. But after being, involved with it as long as I have, it's really nice to be able to have some input, and I do get to help share some of the content. I don't feel like I'm being probably as helpful as I could. I could probably do a couple more blog things, but I get busy doing my stuff just like you said everyone else does. And but if you poke at me enough, I'm liable to do something for you. So I like to help out. That's kind of one of the reasons I'm here. I have a tendency when people ask for help, I raise my hand saying, yeah, I'll help you out. So if I can help out at anything, anybody, I'm always more than willing to do that stuff. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and of course, the fire department with buckle up aspects of things being one of our main, fitting stations, that's a huge part of, one of the things that we do collectively for our community is with the car seats. So, and that's coming up on the 25th. I think it's the 25th, right? I got so many dates mixed up in my head right now. Yeah, Seat Check Saturday is going to be the 25th of this month. So we'll be having, car seats at Missoula Rural Fire Department by appointment only, and also Messi, our Missoula Emergency Services. So I'll be out there for both of those events. I'll be going back and forth between the two. So that'll be good. So awesome. Well, I appreciate your feedback and all that stuff. Anything that needs to change right now that anybody can think of? Okay. And as far as committees go, I think what I'll do is kind of like, the way we did it for TikTok. I don't know if we necessarily need to have any set committees that meet, like on a regular, weekly or monthly basis or anything like that at this point. I think as far as committees go, if we have something that's coming up, for example, TikTok, I'll pull the people or ask the people who wants to be involved with this, and then we can all get involved, those individuals and get that project done. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
Yeah. I'm trying to avoid the let's hold a meeting to hold a meeting type of thing. And all of that stuff. And I think that's most of what I had listed here as far as coalition capacity. Like I said, I tend to be that guy that I'm not going to ask for help on a lot of different things because I understand how busy you are, and I don't want to put anybody in a situation where you're overloaded, you're stressed out, or whatever the case may be, because you said, yeah, I'm going to do this thing for Schmitty and drive safe Missoula, and holy smokes, and now you're up till midnight trying to get something done for me. I don't want to put anybody in that situation whatsoever. So I'll tend to try to get most of the work done myself. So I really appreciate if there is something that you guys want to do more of, you have a thought, you have an idea, I will definitely welcome that, but I'll kind of maybe leave that open to more of a volunteer type status. And there'll be a few things, obviously, like with the TikTok thing that I'll need some help with. I'll reach out to all of you as far as that stuff goes. So next thing, and this was kind of all came about as a result of a meeting with my supervisor, Lisa, when she asked, what are you guys doing for coalition capacity? We've had a lot of new hires within the health department. They're working on building their coalitions back up again because they had a vacancy for, that went, months before they filled that vacancy. So coalitions there just sort of like disappeared. And so now they're having to rebuild all this stuff. So it was fresh on her mind. So she was like, hey, why don't you have a meeting and talk about coalition capacity? So I'm like, okay, that's probably a good idea. I know when I first initially started with this after taking over for Lonnie, a lot of our conversations that we had when we were still meeting in person were about these types of things. And I really wanted to see where everybody's been, where everybody's thoughts and ideas were about it. Now, of course, with the pandemic, and we've been virtual for almost 2 years now, it seems, that I really wanted to sort of get a feel for this. So I really appreciate all of you sharing your thoughts and ideas with me. Next thing is going to be maybe she recommended that I do some sort of community assessment on where we stand. So I might throw out an email here during this in preparation for next month's meeting to kind of go, what do you guys think about doing a community assessment? Do we need to figure out where we stand? I know I'll be heading out. I think I put it on my calendar next week to start doing the annual seatbelt surveys. So that means I go stand around on 11 different street corners around Missoula. I also plan on heading some more rural areas that I have not had a chance to do in the past, like Frenchtown, Sealy Lake, Lolo, to get, kind of an idea of what people are doing as far as wearing seatbelts goes. That's a requirement I have to do once a year. So I'll be out there doing that. I know most of my work as far as buckle up stuff goes relates to car seats, because that seems to be the issue. I mean, we're at 93% people wearing seatbelts right now, but 4 out of 5 car seats are not installed correctly. That's where I think most of my focus needs to be, is on that. So, but I'll be out and about. So I guess I'll probably put out a couple questions between now and next meeting on community assessments, get some of your thoughts and ideas, because I don't really know where to go with that or what to do. So I'll appreciate that. I was thinking this meeting would go a little bit longer than it did, but we're at hour and 5 minutes now. Anybody have any additional thoughts? If I skipped over a question, you were like, oh, I was hoping you were going to ask me about this or that. What say you?
Steve, we don't need to talk about it during the meeting, but I want to talk to you about our survey platform, because I think you could use it for your needs or your community assessment.
Okay.
And fairly easily, and I'll show you how that works.
Excellent.
Okay.
Yeah, get with me on that, and let's
Okay.
talk about that. Okay. Hearing nothing with that, let's go ahead and adjourn the meeting. I really appreciate it. If you guys could always check out the blogs, anything that come out, I'll try to share on Facebook. For example, the blog post that just exploded was the no gas for drunk drivers blog post. My website analytics went through the roof when I released that one out. So that blog's also well, it's on the blog. It's also on Facebook and all of that stuff. Check that out if you haven't seen that one. Feel free to like and share any of the blog posts I have. And I really appreciate it. That's probably my biggest ask for everybody is if you can just help spread the message that way. That way we can get it out to more of the world. With that, reach out to me with any comments, questions, requests throughout the month. And we will see you, I think October something or other. We'll be back on schedule for like the second Thursday of the month. So October 14th will be our next meeting, and we will see you then.